one. This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vandergren in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vandergren in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride.
ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono. He's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson offline.
Is green, green, green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to turn it to twos. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you Bruce Tanek and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't committed, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. Dodds just absolutely think about it. It's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SRWtv, and welcome into round number 7 of season 4 of 2024 of the Cooler Master Super Formula Championship here out at Watkins Glen. It's also our third last round, we'll say that, third last round of the F1 Shadow Series for a triple header towards the end of the season. It's also our final sprint round of the season here this evening. The next 2 weeks being normal 60-minute racing affairs. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro, bringing you all the action through sight and sound, as always, here on Sim Racing World TV. Joining me, as always, though, Brad Hudson. Huddo, it's a championship round. I'm calling it now. This round is going to be one that's going to cause some chaos, can make or break some championships, and with some crucial round bans on offer for some drivers here tonight, it's a great opportunity that drivers need to grab the brass ring for, to really take advantage and try and gain something back on some of those drivers with a week off on an undroppable round for them.
Yeah, good evening, Hamish. Tonight has actually thrown up, I guess, a lot of what-ifs, maybes, and certain, I guess, simulations that could play out tonight. Last week at VIR really turned the competition upon its head with a few now serving round bans and such. And I think that we'll touch on a little bit later, Hamish, is how deeply impacted the AM Championship is right now and how close that has really brought it in just for a couple of people having to sit out this week, unfortunately, Hamish.
Well, namely, it is the AM Championship leader in Keegan Caldwell, who's on a week off this week. Undroppable as well, and after scoring a net 0 last week in what is his drop round, there's now some pressure on him, and the real pressure is now going to come for him. Of course, there's 2 rounds left to go after this. He returns next week. If he were to, because you lose 4 points after you serve a round ban, he would go to, I believe, 8 or 9 points total. 1 incident, and all of a sudden he could have a week off in the final round, and that's it. He loses the championship. So it's crucial now that he does not let this break him, and he just races next week, has a clean race, gets some points on the board, just so he's available for the final round at Daytona in round 9.
Yeah, it's very much crunch time down in the AMs. A lot of possibilities, and I guess as you just touched on, Keegan having the week off, that really brings Kevin Wakefield right into contention. He's only 85 points off the lead. He still has a little ways to go because he has a drop round, and still has to take a drop round, unfortunately for him, which puts him a little bit further back. But the next competitor down the list, Dean Sinkovich, also has a week off. And in saying that, the next competitor back from him is Nicholas Schmalenberg, who sits 140 odd points behind our leader Keegan Caldwell, but has already taken a drop round. So the points he has is the points that he has for the rest of this. Go on, no more droppable rounds. So look, Keegan's still got a handy buffer back to the rest of the field, but I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. It really is. It's Keegan's to lose from here on in. If he can just play it smart, keep it clean, he'll win the championship, no doubt. He just needs to, decide what he wants. Does he want to race, or does he want to win the championship, Hamish?
No, that's right. And other big championship implications tonight as well. Matt Keane leads the Pro-Am title race at this stage, and currently not in the session is... Oh, no, he is in the session, sorry. So Pete Ziedler is in here, sorry. He just hasn't set a time yet. So the top 2 for the Pro-Ams are in the session. They are the only 2 drivers who could win that title, realistically. Nathan Verney would need one hell of a lifeline to gain enough points to get in contention of that title. He's 247 points back. It's pretty out of touch for him at this stage. And then for the pros, Daniel Byrne leads the title race after an unfortunate round last week for Dylan De Bono. First half of the season was De Bono's, second half has been Byrne's. And it's coming down to the nitty and gritty now in the final 3 rounds. De Bono needs to perform the next 3 weeks if he hopes to win his first SFL championship here in SRW that he so tried to do for such a long time. And he knows this will be a missed opportunity if he doesn't win this title this season.
Yeah, it's really tightened up, Hamish, as you just touched on. It's a two-horse race in the amateurs. Matthew Keane and Peter Zeidler trading blows all season. It's actually been quite good to watch. They've definitely been a cut above the rest of their class. And it's good to see, those two just going, toe-to-toe all season. And you just touched on the pros as well in terms of Daniel Byrne, Dylan DeBono, and David Gallo. And I guess after drop rounds, they are only two. The three of them are separated by 2 points. Hamish. It's going to be very, very tight, and I think it'll be almost up to. It'll be hard for the Carlins garage to really decide who's going to play second fiddle. I think if anyone's got a lead back to over the top of DeBono, they'll give preference to that driver. But really, it's going to be a week by week basis because they swap and change all the time. Like they're always in the top 5. They've had very consistent seasons. But what I am looking for is to see if the Velocity SimLab team can actually step up and help DeBono get over the line. He's just been not hung out to dry, but he's just probably a little ways out of the reach of the rest of the VSL team, and he's just getting caught up in other incidents around the track, unfortunately. So, look, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out tonight. But yeah, he is hoping the cavalry can come in for DeBono and the VSL team can, help him get over the line.
Now, our F1's Shadow Series standings have not been updated since Mexico. Of course, we did race it into Lagos. I'm not 100% sure on who will be leading that title race. I'm going to assume it's still David Gallo, being the fact he had a 270-point gap over Daniel Byrne leading into Interlagos. So I'm going to assume it's still David Gallo that's leading. He just needs to have some strong runs this next couple of weeks. It's going to be hard for him to drop 270 points to Byrne in the last 3 rounds. He pretty much just has to race the next 3 races, Hutto, and he should be fine.
Yeah, so actually I'm just looking up the numbers right now, and in terms of total points, he's got a 200-odd, almost a 300-point buffer back to his teammate in Daniel Byrne. So I think that's almost home and hose for David Gallo. He'd have to absolutely clinch the title. He'd have to, I guess, better Daniel Byrne again tonight and then be leading by 371 points or more to clinch the title tonight. But I'll do some maths in the background and I'll get back to you on that figure, Hamish. In the meantime, let's see some action on track.
Well, at this stage, qualifying has begun. Dylan DeBono has started his outlap for the moment. Doug Gowans, his teammate, is chasing him down. This is their first push lap of qualifying. Although that time's not going to count for DeBono. That is an off-track, running it wide at the laces of the boot and in towards the toe as well. So now he'll slot in behind Dougie, let Dougie run on, finish his lap, and he'll get that lovely toe for the main straight and most likely the back straight as well, Hutto, where this could actually help DeBono get quite a quick time in here in qualifying.
Yeah, I guess the toe's going to be really important and a bit of team play tonight. It's a very flowing circuit, and the toe in these cars, as we know, is quite overpowered. So it'd be interesting to see which teams can put it together tonight to get their driver, I guess, further up list and give them a better shot at winning these titles, Hamish.
So Ryan Bunt is apparently attempting to get in. Is it a full grid? When did sign-ups close, Hutto?
I'm pretty sure he'd be registered, so let me have a look in the back, but I'm pretty sure he registered as a driver and should be A-OK, unless he hasn't accepted his invite. But yeah, I'll have a look at that as well. Possibly. That may also be the case. But it sounds like I've got a bit of homework to do before the race kicks off, Hamish.
Well, Adrian Loretti has gone provisional pole position 135.24, although Ocean Colangelo has pipped him for it, 134.99 from the Max Boost driver. She has got some good pace in this car, but still showed last week, Hutto, as suspected, a little bit inconsistent on the road. We'll see how she goes here tonight, though. This track, I think, is a little bit easier than what VIR was, personally, and better opportunity for her to really shine out on track tonight.
Yeah, I guess a change of I guess, change of car for Colangelo, and probably didn't have the greatest debut that she may have wanted, but I'm sure a lot of drivers probably would have put a bit of time or have enough experience at this track, being a free track, and a lot of people, this is actually one of my favourite tracks, Hamish, and we'll be hoping to see a better result from Colangelo tonight.
I think I know why. I actually know, but we got 43 cars in this session, including the safety cars. So this would put us at. Well, I think the threshold for this track's what, 50 grid slots. So if he can only watch, that's a Ryan Bunt problem. Unfortunately, we can't do much about it at the moment. As mentioned though, Adrian Loretti is. He's got some good pace in the DFR car at this stage. Had a wild ride last week over the back straight at VIR. We saw it from his POV, Hutto. We had his camera on screen at the time and just saw him go absolutely flying at the back end of the back straight. We saw the replay. It was ferocious. I think that's the only word we can use to describe it. It was wild.
Yeah, I guess a lot of close racing last week, Hamish. A few big spills and a few heart and mouth moments as drivers were going over those crests side by side into some sweeping corners and tight and heavy braking zones. But all in all, a very entertaining evening last week, Hamish, which, like we touched on earlier, has really thrown the championships kind of up in the air, a bit of uncertainty. But like we touched on, it's very close up the top. Not many points, I guess, splitting Gallo, Byrne and De Bono. AMS, it's still wide open. It really would take Matthew Keane, just a simple slip up, and Ziedler to have just a normal round. They've both been putting in top 10 performances all season so far, Hamish, and we spoke just before on the AMS, so I won't go any further on that one. But I guess I'm hoping not to see too many more spills. I think with the walls being a lot closer to the track this week, Hamish, we're going to see, if a car dips a wheel and then puts themselves into the fence and the car, I'm expecting to see a car bounce back across the track, which will cause an absolute pile-up, just like we see in the Blues Brothers. I think that's just going to happen. I think it's almost inevitable.
I think definitely at turn 4, Hutto, the top of the hill, before the back straight, for sure.
Yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How many times do you see people get, even in multi-class racing, it seems to be one car gets offline or takes too much of the curb on the left-hand side, rockets back across the track and then slams on the wall, and then it turns into a car park. And I think the exact same thing happened last time we were here many seasons ago, Hamish.
Yeah, I think across the 2 races tonight, Hutto, 4 safety cars.
Oh, yeah, I think you're on the money there. I'll stick with 3 just for a bit of variety, but I think you've got the short tip there, Hamish, on 4 safety cars.
I think race 1, if there's not one in the first lap, we'll probably only see 1 safety car. If there's one in the first lap, I think there's still a possibility of seeing 2. Just thinking about how long we could possibly take on the safety car, the fact it's only a 20-minute race, and then we get the final 5 minutes, there's no safety cars called. Race 2, there's a lot it's a lot longer of a race. There's a lot more opportunity for the safety car to get called, especially if the track is jammed. And we've just seen De Bono come through here now. He has gone P5 in the session with a 135.16 over his last lap. So he's found a time under his belt. It's only put in P5. He's actually slower than Tony Baker, who, probably be a Pro-Am next season based on his pace alone, but he needs to get some more consistency about him too.
Well, yeah, I think he's missed quite a few rounds this season, Hamish. So, look, we saw Tony Baker fly out of the blocks at Road Atlanta in round 1. And I think we're all kind of looked around going, oh, maybe we might have made a bit of an oopsie with Tony Baker. But then I guess he's just been busy, or something's been caught up with him, and hasn't been able to race week in, week out, which has really put him down the leaderboard in that AM Championship. And I guess that's why we see Mr. Kevin Wakefield flourishing so much. He's out the back, he's circulating, he's picking up the points, and he's found himself right up the top. Now in contention for this AM Championship, Hamish.
And do you think he can claim that now? I mean, perfect world for him is he gets a top 20 in both races tonight, and then Caldwell makes a mistake next week, gets a penalty, and has another week off in the final round.
I guess the perfect world, but yeah, I think we just talked backstage. Wakefield needs a minimum P20 in both races. That'll get him his 86 points or 85 points that he requires, and he'll be pretty much on par with Caldwell. So then it'll be those two racing each other for the championship over 2 weeks, which would be fantastic to see. I do think Caldwell will have him for pace out and out, as he's displayed that all season.
Yep.
It'll just be a matter of if Caldwell can keep it together. Can he keep it clean? Can he stay on track? That's all he needs to do. And I think we spoke a couple of weeks ago where I said all Caldwell needs to do is not fight. He could let every pro-am, every pro go past him in the world, and he wouldn't have a problem. He'd score the points and he would have won it by now. But unfortunately, he gets caught up with incidents, and it just hasn't turned out for him this week. And now he's, I guess, suffering the consequences of his actions.
It's a bit of a similar scenario to his new team boss, Dylan DeBono, in previous seasons, isn't it?
Yes, well, I guess DeBono suffers from the self-spin. He's had some... I will say his race, or his week last week was quite unfortunate. A couple of collisions with the newly entered Max Boost cars. It's not what we wanted to see for a team being on debut, especially making contact or, taking, I guess, vital points potentially away from DeBono, who was, going for this championship. It's not what we wanted to see, but look, DeBono could have also, I guess, on his part, he knows when to race. He could have just let the Max Boost cars go and lived another day, but I guess the inner racer inside both of them, they want to compete, they want to race fast, and sometimes it doesn't always work out the way you want it, Hamish.
No, it doesn't necessarily. So DeBono just now needs to put his head down tonight, try and get a good lap under his belt here in qualifying, because he only has till the 15 minutes to get a better time in. And a 35.16 is not going to be good enough to get him inside the top 10. Every car up to P9 has done a 34, so that's what he needs to find at the moment, Hutto, is a 34 just to get inside the top 10. So he needs to find some pace if he wants to challenge these drivers tonight. Realistically, he just needs to worry about Daniel Byrne and trying to beat Daniel Byrne. He does not need to worry about those other cars. Arguably last week, he did not need to battle for the win. He could have just sat in P2, gained points over Byrne, and then, probably actually ended off better than what he did.
Yeah, and I think that's where some drivers just need to, I guess, play it smarter than others. And like, if DeBono really wanted to win it, he might have been privy to it or aware to that fact. But look, what's happened now. It's a very tight race between the top three, and we're just going to have to, or Dylan's just going to have to perform like he hasn't before and go out and win that championship in the final 3 rounds, Hamish.
Andrew Rushworth's claiming a car's going to go in the Shadow Realm. I think you're very right about that one there, Rushy. I'm going to back that up by saying a car's going to go into the Shadow Realm at turn 4 at the top of the hill. They're going to find the top end of the catch fence, and that'll be disappearing Act 101.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see any cars flying over fences tonight, but look, it's we've said time and time again, turn 1, turn 4, even that the boot section of this track, Hamish, is known for a few spins and pile-ups, but I think it's inevitable. We will see some carnage, but fingers crossed for a good race, Hamish.
Got a couple of drivers on screen here tonight, as often as we do. Callum Rosanita, he's one of them. He hasn't found some pace just yet in qualifying, really struggling with the circuit. In behind him at this stage on track is actually Andrew Cowan, another driver we have on camera as well. There he is with his virtual cam, and he's actually just ploughed it into Cal on the rejoin up towards where the club circuit is. So he'll have to go back to pits and then have another crack later on. Kyle Gretsch's not out on track at the moment. We saw glimpses of him not in his rig as I was scrolling through the cameras. He walked out of the room. We also obviously have Adrian Loretti once again. He finds himself just outside the top 10 in P15. Just in behind Dylan DeBono here in qualifying. So he's just trying to find some time just to get himself back up into that top 10.
And DeBono's just round in the corner now. See if he can make it into the top 10. Currently sitting P14. Can't see... What is it? A few orange sectors there, so may not improve his time as he comes across the line just now.
That's his final lap. So
that's it.
That's it. He's out of the top 10.
He's got a lot of work to do, De Bono. Look,
does.
never say never. If he could take a leaf out of, or if he could just drive with Adrian Loretti, who's currently in P15. Darren Fay, another one who's not known for setting the world alight in qualifying, but managing to bring it back through the race. So yeah, I guess Dylan will have a different sort of race to try and navigate today, Hamish.
Maybe this will work out for him though, Hutto. There's some very quick boys up the front end of town, or boys and girls. Ocean Colangelo's in the 10. They were quite feisty last week. There could be some carnage up there. This might actually work in De Bono's favour tonight.
Yeah, I guess Max Boost have definitely come out in force this week. Kane Ryder P1, Vaughan in P4, and then McCrone and Colangelo in 6 and 7. So, look, it's Max Boost have come out in max force and looking to get a win under their belt after their debut last week.
Trying to boost their chances, it seems.
Something like that, Hamish.
We have got Keegan Caldwell in the chat with us as well. So our AM Championship leader on his week holiday is at least joining and watching the action, keeping a close eye on how Kevin Wakefield does tonight, I think, Hutto.
Yeah, no, I would be too. Like, if you're invested in I guess, towards the top of the championship, you'd be keeping a close eye, and just to almost regather your thoughts and just take in, and maybe even if there's much camera time on Kevin, study how he races, or look at what's going on around him as well.
So starting grid for this race will be as follows. Kane Ryder will start on pole position alongside Daniel Byrne of Carlin's Motorsport on the front row of the grid. David Gallo and Vaughan Ryder will start on the second row of the grid. So Max Boost and Carlin's, they'll be going one-on-one at the start of this race. Ben Brook with a miraculous top 5 in qualifying. He'll start alongside Ocean Colangelo in P6 with Daniel McCrowan and Doug Gowans for the top 8 cars. Adrian Loretti will make up the top 9 pros, with Ray Oliver starting from pole for the Pro-Ams. And inside the top 10 for SLM Motorsport, Shane Ratcliffe will start just in behind, with Tony Baker on pole for the AMs tonight in P12. Further back, Thomas Donoghue and Mitch Noble will start, with Dylan De Bono all the way back in P15 alongside P16 in Giuliano Sinise. Pete Zeither and Scott Pocock will start in the top 18, with Matt Keane and Danny Davidson. So the 2 Pro-Am title contenders, they'll start around each other back on the 9th and 10th row of the grid. Matt Gerard, Tyler Sheaf, Jack Michelson, Brent Wassell for the top 24 cars on the road. Jamie Davis, Nathan Verney, Andrew Cowan, Nick Martin, Nick Schmalenberg and Sam Katakazinas for the top 30. Jason Depp, Ben Ryder, Kyle Gretsch, Sean Benici, Kevin Wakefield, Josh King for the top 36 cars on the road. Then Kevin Wakefield, Josh King, Timothy Schmalenberg, Johnny Rowe, Callum Rosanita at the back end of the field. Callan Hodgkinson not setting a time. Greg Johnston joined the session, but then found out he had a week off. So he's gone to have a cold beer and sit down and watch the race, I think, Hutto.
Yeah, I guess, the licence points catching up with a few drivers this evening, Hamish, and a few drivers unfortunately missing out on this wonderful venue, but it is what it is, and they'll be back next week to, put a few laps in, Hamish.
As we mentioned, we've got our driver cams on offer here this evening, keeping an eye on all of them throughout the racing progressions here tonight. Kane Ryder starts on pole. There's Adrian Loretti's cam as well. It is spelt in the camera section as Laredi, deliberately to keep the joke alive. Kyle Gretsch, he starts a bit further back in the field in his first season in the SFLs. Callum Rosanita, his teammate as well. Then Cowie with his virtual camera, bringing us all of his stats whilst he races around this beautiful part of the world. So, Hutto, what sort of... I don't know why everyone's jumped off grid.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. The top 15 not on grid just yet, so unsure what's going on just now.
Because we normally would have a...
race control is...
Have we had to change sessions, maybe?
There's a few pit lane starts being handed out.
Oh, okay. Backlog of impeding calls to call out. Got ya. Fair enough, then. Okay, so...
I'll just listen in and I'll try and sing out a few names that'll be starting for pit lane.
No worries. this will this will really spice things up for us. Brooke and Oliver, they start inside the top 10. I doubt De Bono's got one. He was all on his lonesome for all of qualifying.
So the only drivers I could hear through the comms just now were driver 076. I think that's Danny Davison. May have a pit lane start.
Yep.
And driver 008 in Pete Zeidler.
Oh, that's going to hurt his championship.
Mm.
He was supposed to start directly abreast of Matt Keane. This would have really helped his championship, Hutto.
It puts a cat amongst the pigeons now. All of a sudden,
all of a sudden it does. You know, it's a bit like firing off a gun in a forest. All the birds just start flying away. And Zeidler right now, we feeling like he's might be missing out on a championship at this stage, because this could cost him tonight, Hutto. This could really put the pressure on him for the final 2 rounds if he cannot make up positions in race 1 and 2 tonight.
Well, in saying that, it could be beneficial that if there's going to be carnage at turn 1, he might pick up, 5-6 spots just on carnage alone. So, look, you always want to start on grid, put yourself as far up the field as possible. But yeah, it is what it is, Hamish.
Yep, not much they can do about it. So Zeidler, Davison have pit lane starts. Noble's in the lane as well. Michelson, Ryder are in the pit lane. They haven't made the grid. So Ryder on pole, Byrne in second. We are underway. 20 minutes of racing at Watkins Glen. As they rocket down towards turn 1, let's make sure they keep it nice and clean on the run through, Hutto, because we know there can be carnage in this next section of corners.
Yeah, just look up and down the timing tower. No big movers and shakers just yet. Seems like they've all gone through, but it's very early days. We're only just sweeping through turn 4 now, Hamish, and expecting fireworks.
And there are cars getting closer and closer together just yet. Daniel Byrne has gotten past Kane Ryder thanks to the tow. I suspect that they're going to be swapping and changing positions quite consistently here tonight, Hutto, I must say, being that the tow is so strong on this particular layout of the circuit. So Byrne now leads, Ryder second, Gallo, and then Vaughan Ryder in 4th place. Gowan's inside the top 5 as well. I saw Ben Ryder, he's on debut tonight for that team. De Bono's already trying to make moves early, so we're really just having to get into a groove here, but a nice clean start to this race, Hutto. That's what we like to see.
We say that, but I'm looking at the timing tower. It is red, red, red with the intervals. It means that their drivers are...
Oh, Ratcliffe's gone round. Oh, we need to keep an eye on that because there could be pure chaos. Ray Oliver was the other one that went round. I think he possibly was trying to go for a move on De Bono and then realised what was ahead of him and decided to back out of it. But that... Oh, my God.
That was close.
Oh, my God.
Oh, perhaps the rejoin might get called in for that one. If I was Oliver right now, I'd just be keeping it calm, gather your composure, get back on track, take it back to the pits, and get sorted out, and head down, bum up.
Kane Ryder's come in pit lane. It looks like a drive-through. I have to wonder if he copped a slowdown, Hutto, and did not serve it in time, because that's what this looks like.
Oh, who's this? No, I'm just getting on board with Tony Baker. Tony Baker, Benjamin Brook and Adrian Loretti going 3 wide up this straight now, Hamish. Looks like Brooks just got the take the outside line, and Tony Baker thinks better of it and just tucks in behind the 2 competing drivers.
Oh,
was it a jump start?
He jumped the start. Race control confirmed with us.
And 991.
Yeah, Cowie.
Mr. Cowie.
So that would explain why. So he jumped the start. That gave him the black flag. Byrne was then able to take the lead off of it as well. We need to have a look at what's happened to Mr. Ratcliffe as well later on in the lap, because he caused a bit of strife from his own mistake, it seems. So he was on the inside of Tony Baker leading up to the heel of the... Oh, my God, they wanted to make it 4 wide. He sent it, locked it up. Round she went. And then there's Ray Oliver, who also had a bit of a sympathy spin as well. So this is how he ended up. So he was trying to line something up on Dylan De Bono. Oh, he came in way too hot, saw what was happening, and round he went. So then Who was it that came past him that he had to avoid?
It might have been...
Was it Rosanita, maybe? Oh, my God. I don't even know who that was. It might have been Jay Dixon, possibly. No. Ah, I know who it was. I think it was, just quickly, Danny Davidson. Because I want to see what this looked like from that driver's perspective. Because they would have come around the corner and all of a sudden there would have been a car in their way. Yep, it was Danny Davidson. Well avoided. Well avoided from Danny Davidson. So Burn now leads. What, I mean... What were you going to say? Sorry, then, Hudson.
Oh, sorry. Just the toe that the drivers are getting down that back straight. We just saw Dylan De Bono go from, take 2 positions, then lose 2 positions. He did back out of the corner, just, taking a safer action. But Loretti was, I guess, the middle car, got past, fell to the back of the train, retook up the draft and managed to pass both cars. Like, the toe tonight is completely overpowered, Hamish.
Oh, it is. It is. And that's the beauty of no bus stop, Hutto. You don't need a Mikey, plus you get the toe, which is extremely powerful out there, as Loretti is now inside the top 10, as is Dylan De Bono. So both these drivers trying to rocket their way through the field. They will have the benefit if they can keep it inside the top 10 of getting that reverse grid. So that will help them in the next race. The one that's really hurting right now, Hutto, and he's only got 15 minutes to catch back up the field, is Kane Ryder for jumping the start.
Yeah, I guess unless a safety car gets called now, and there's a long list of names to try and make it his way through back through the pack, I think it'd just be better for Kane to consolidate on this race, try and make up a few positions in this one. Yeah, take it with a grain of salt essentially, and move on to race 2.
Well, it's not like he has a championship to fight for. It's all in good fun for him at this stage, as Loretti keeps it ahead of Dylan De Bono.
We've got a spill.
Oh.
That's Sheafy and Sinise.
Oh, wow. Sheafy, Sinise.
And Gerard. There's a few drivers caught up in this one.
Yeah, there are. So let's have a quick look what's happened. I believe it was started with Gerard going off track, Hutto, possibly. Oh, that was a... What in... What was that? What caused that? Because that was massive.
I think you might have to go back a little bit further and perhaps an onboard. They have to get a better view of what, and a better understanding of what's just happened. 4 wide.
They were 4 wide.
And they've just played
there was a
pinball machine.
I think there was a speed wobble from Sheafy, and that's what knocked into Gerard and just caused the absolute chaos to ensue. This was huge, though. I mean, at this point in the race, if any of them couldn't get it back to pits, you'd expect... yeah, you see that there. So it was the inside car, gave Sheafy a bit of a speed wobble and knocked him into the side of his friend, Matty Gerard, and that just caused the chaos.
Yeah, unfortunate for, I guess, a lot of drivers there. 4 wide into 1 corner. I haven't seen it work out before, Hamish, and we didn't see that happen just before, so...
His car is destroyed. I'm just... Look at that. He's missing his whole side intake and his front wheels hanging off at the moment. That car is completely destroyed at the moment. But
it's just a scratch, Hamish.
Oh, yeah. A minor mark on it. He'll get it fixed up nice and easy. So David Gallo has now found himself in P2. Gallo and Byrne took quite an impressive 1-2 finish. I believe it was a couple of weeks ago in SFL. So they have been getting back to top 2 position ways this season. And we both agree, Hutto, Gallo's been driver of the year for 2024. And obviously if he can lock in that F1 Shadow Series championship tonight, well, he will undoubtedly be driver of the year. 100% across all leagues here in SRW, I think.
Yeah, I guess Gallo's just been strong across, like I said, across all forms of racing, and especially here at SFL. As we see Johnny Rowe just go around in the bottom screen. Yeah, Gallo's had a stellar year, really. I don't think he's placed anything lower than 3rd in the overall championships here at the SFL. So look, he's definitely he's always up there, and I guess that's why I had him as an early pick. But yeah, he's had a fantastic year, and he's still on track to win this season, Hamish. Whilst he's only, he's a second behind, or 2 seconds behind his teammate in Daniel Byrne, it's about the points, right? And he's only going to drop 2 more points back to Daniel, so it's not that detrimental finishing in P2, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean, he's giving up, 2 points this race, 3 points in the next, so he's not giving up a hell of a lot to Byrne, and if Byrne were to have a poor round in the final round of the season, then Gallo could be right there to claim the chocolates.
And that's the thing, it's like we said before, it's a lot easier to have a poor round than it is to go out and win each week. So full credit to the drivers that are, within the top 10 week in, week out, because it's definitely no easy feat, Hamish.
No, definitely not, But at this stage, we are halfway through this race. Daniel Byrne leads David Gallo and Vaughan Ryder on the overall podium. Tony Baker leads the AMs at this point in time. Matty Keane leads the Pro-Ams, with Sean Bonici, Nathan Verdi not too far behind him. Baker has Brent Wassel and Nick Schmalenberg on the AM podium trying to chase him down. Kyle Gretsch off the back of this battle as well. Fully focused, fully moustached, and trying to make spots up. He's got Jason Depp just in behind him, so these guys may start to work together just to make their way through the field a little bit and try and get Kyle and Jason some solid points on the board.
It's hard to know where to look, Hamish. I'm just looking at the timing tower back here. There's drivers within, under 0.2 of a second, all up and down the leaderboard. It's where do I look to try and get an overtake? Or where do we look to bring you the action? It's just, it's all over the field. It's hard to chase down that, to be honest, Hamish.
Yeah, it's, again, where do you look? You mentioned it. Like, where do you put the camera? Which battle do you decide to go to? Because sometimes it's just tough to figure out, but when there's back and forth like this from Mitch Noble, Kane Ryder, this makes it a bit easier with Danny Davidson just ahead of them in this battle. So this will continue on as they rocket round the laces of the boot and up towards the toe. Noble's done well to actually keep Ryder off his back. He's really becoming quite a good defensive driver, has Noble. I think that's come down to his history of getting into P10 and then starting on pole and just being able to maintain where he is at the start of a race. I think the thing that Mitch does struggle with a little bit though, Hutto, and I've noticed it across this season, is number one, he can self-spin a little bit, typical Team SRW way. But he actually also gets caught up in other people's issues to no fault of his own as well. So he's actually been a little bit unlucky, I think, this season, but he is getting better.
But he's absolutely holding his own here against Ryder and Davison right now, as Davison looks to check out a little bit and move past Noble. But look, he's definitely putting his elbows out, giving a challenge to the pros, saying no, he's not going to give up his position lightly. But yeah, fantastic effort from Noble.
Nick Schmalenberg under pressure now. You got Jason Depps on board from this battle as well on the bottom screen, as Gretsch and Schmalenberg go side by side into the straight. Here comes Depp. Look at the power of the toe, Hutto. That was like a boost of NOS.
But now watch Schmalenberg come back. Now watch this. No, he's just checking. He's just pulled up. You can see he's just got out of the throttle. Oh, and as he's just had his pants pulled down by Josh King.
You know what?
So,
smart who was that from Nick? Who was it? I think it was Depp. That was Depp running it wide.
Yeah, Depp just caught the inside curb and got the speed wobbles.
That's one of the big
Jay
problems.
Dixon.
Yeah, he's right
and now
there.
Jay Dixon's... Oh, look at that train, Hamish.
Oh, no, it's growing as we go round more corners. Oh, the rubber banding is real. You thought Need for Speed had it bad. Try SFLs on a Wednesday at Watkins.
I guess this will be a real test for Jay here after, I guess, yeah. Already up 22 positions. I'm guessing started from pit lane, perhaps, or didn't set a qualifying time. Having to battle his way back through the pack. But he's just slowly but surely picking off the drivers as he, catches up them and makes those passes safely. And yeah, he'll be looking to probably put himself inside the top 20 for the start of race 2, Hamish.
What we can also see happening as well at the moment, Hutto, is Scott Pocock is starting to become a bit of a cork in the bottle with Ben Brook, Tony Baker, Thomas Donoghue closely in behind. And then some other traffic as well following them close. There was actually a bit of lap traffic behind them in Callum Rosanita as well. He's just trying to come back in this race. It's not been a good round for Cal, unfortunately. He went up into the Pro-Ams this season. This hasn't really been lighting up the magic that he did last season, Hutto, or even the season before when he was in the AMs.
Yeah, it just hasn't really turned out for him. I guess it's been a big step up for himself, Noble, and who's the third person we promoted? Oh, Tesseriero, the AM champion from the previous season. So, look, it's definitely been a big jump for them, because the level of competition within the Pro-Ams is just, like, the depth is getting larger. Like, I guess Ziedler and Keane have been, have the spotlight in terms of the top end of town, but then you look all through the Pro-Am pack. They're no slouches of drivers. Like you got Gerard, when he's able to make it on his day, he's always within the top three. Unfortunately for Hodgkinson, coming back from an injury as well, he's normally up towards the top end of the ladder. Unfortunately, sustained an injury, I think, before the season started, and is racing with a bit of a sore leg still. So we wish him all the best in his recovery. And then we also have...
Just quickly, Hutto, we can confirm Nick Schmalenberg's found the door to the Shadow Realm.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I wonder what happened there.
He's come across the nose of Jason Depp. Just quickly slow this down for a second so I can find Jason's name. There he is. On board. And then watch this. So, across the nose. And all of a sudden, he just disappears.
Oh, wow.
Where did he go?
But he properly disappeared before he even hit the fence. So.
Yeah, but they claimed that he jumped to pits, like, straight away. So he's actually found the door to the Shadow Realm. That's weird.
I guess that'd be one for race control to pick apart and do what they need to do with Mr. Schmalenberg. But yeah, unfortunate end for his race.
I've just seen what Daniel McCrowan has set his team name to on SDK, Mictalica Racing. Ah, I wonder if the bell tolls for him.
Hamish, you never cease to impress, Hamish.
I know. I mean, nothing else matters but dad jokes. I'll pull out as many Metallica references as I possibly can, Hutto. You should know this.
Sorry, I'm just listening into race control. Right, so something involving car 10 and car 218 just coming over the airways now, Hamish.
Oh, there's a big moment, Hutto. We're too close to the end for a safety car, but Kyle Gretsch and Danny Davidson, they've had a coming together.
Who's going to clean him up?
Oh my God. Oh, and he gets caught up by a Velocity car. Ironic, because Kyle is a previous Velocity Racing team driver and he's been allowed to tow back to pits.
Yeah, get him off the track, get him out of harm's way. But yeah, unfortunate there for the other drivers who were approaching him. And
he self-spun. He caught the bump. Wow, that's unfortunate. And then this was Johnny Rowe. He was coming round that corner. Kyle thought he had enough time to pull out, but Rowe just kind of caught him blind. Like, where do you go?
Oh, I guess he might have thought he was moving, but then just guessed again and went straight, so.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So Gretsch is now in the pit lane. Oh, Brad Hayes keeping it going. The sooner this fades to black, potentially the better. Hey, that's my favourite Metallica song, Brad. I can appreciate that comment. But Daniel Byrne leads the way. A minute or 2.5 minutes left, Hutto, so probably enough time for 2 more laps, I would say.
Yeah, the drivers are circulating at about 1:35 at the moment. 1:30. Some of them are dipping into the 34s. But yeah, definitely more than enough time for 2 laps of racing here, Hamish.
So Byrne and Gallo lead the way. Vaughan Ryder on for his first podium here in the Cooler Master Super Formula Championship. Daniel McCrowan, his teammate inside the top 5. Doug Gowans trying to get this job done on McCrowan. He's been working hard at it for laps on end. And his teammate Dylan DeBono is chasing him down as well in P6. Wheel to wheel. Into turn 6 they come.
Oh, almost going 4 wide down the back straight here, Hamish. This is for P10.
The battle's on between them. The battle is on between them. Ocean Colangelo's put it in the wall.
That promotes Tony Baker to P10. He might be starting on pole next race, Hamish.
Oh, this is big implications, Hutto. Big implications. This is what happened to Ocean. Down there, caught the curb, lost the rear end, and bang, straight in the wall. It's unfortunate for her, but that battle now. Oh, actually, I think someone just hit her. Actually, as I clicked off, they did. That was Kyle Gretsch.
Oh, he's not having a good night, is he, Hamish?
He's just come back out of pit lane after getting that car fixed. So Callum Rosanita, who was a part of that battle, although he was a lap car, has now put it in the wall. But this was another moment now. So Gretsch, after parking at the side of the road without his rear wing, then getting ploughed by Johnny Rowe, he does the same thing to Ocean Colangelo. Oh my God.
You can only laugh it off.
You couldn't ride it if you tried, could ya?
It's not what we really want to see here at SRW, but can only have a bit of a chuckle. Unfortunate result for the first incident, and then goes and, yeah. Oh well, Hamish.
Well, he's brought his receipt with him, but there's a no return policy on that one for Kyle Gretsch, unfortunately. Scott Pocock, Ben Brook, this battle's still on, Hutto, and Thomas Donahue is right there, and he's put himself inside the 10.
He's pounced on the opportunities. He's seen it. He's just waited one lap, and he's made his move down that back straight. So see if he can make it stick. Oh, Pocock gets loose.
Pocock, what a locker!
Oh,
how in the hell did he catch that?
Well, they've managed to see another day. And who's that? Donahue goes around.
Donahue in the wall. What is happening at the end of this race? It's going off in that battle for the top 10. And wouldn't you know it, who's in P10, Hutto? A man who complained that he got attacked on a final lap a couple of weeks ago and lost the provisional pole. He's there again, second week in a row. He gets to attempt to go up. But Daniel Byrne, round towards the final corner, he took the lead on the very first lap after Kane Ryder jumped the race start. Round the final corner now for the Carlins Motorsport driver and the championship leader. He extends his lead. He crosses the line. P1 in race 1. His teammate David Gallo in P2. Vaughn Ryder gets his first podium here in SRW, and Dylan DeBono is up and into P4. So not much of a net loss here tonight to Gallo and Byrne. Gowan's in P5. McCrowan P6. I reckon there was a bit of team play there, Hutto. I reckon Gowan slowed him up.
I think we saw a bit of team play there, and smart move by VSL, and fantastic for, I guess, VSL seeing that opportunity and helping their driver try and win this championship, Hamish.
There was a drag race as well that was on your screen to the line for Josh King and Nick Martin, I believe it was. I know it was with Jason Depp, so King wasn't even going for position. Baker wins for the AMs tonight inside the top 10. Matty Keane has made it inside the top 10. And provisional pole position for race number 2. Brent Wassell gets P2 for the AMs. Keep you updated on Kevin Wakefield. He got P24 in the end. So he actually wasn't too far off from where he needed to be, Hutto. If he can somehow get P16 in race 2, he's got the points.
That'll probably get him over the line to be on par with the current AM leader.
Yeah. So it'll be a bit more work for him to gain 8 extra positions in the next race, but with carnage that can ensue and some of the crashes we saw in this race, it's not out of the realm.
Absolutely, Hamish. And look, that was a very busy race. I guess behind the scenes and trying to pick which battle pack or which cars, to try and highlight and bring our viewers. I'm not going to lie, it was a hard task. The intervals between these cars were bouncing around. They're all in the red and the orange, so you know it's close. The slipstream was overpowered. There's cars going back and forth up that back straight. So, look, Hamish, if anything's like that first race, it's going to be very, very entertaining. But surprise, surprise, how many safety cars we have, Hamish?
None.
So 4 would be a very, very busy race. 3 would be a very busy race. So we may have 2 maximum, I think.
Yeah.
If it's 3, it's just stop-start. It'd be very unproductive.
If it's 4, it's one every 10 minutes. So
yeah, that's yuck. You don't want that.
Would not be very. I don't want that. I do not want that. This was our provisional race results, though, for race number 1. let's quickly run through them, Hutto. So Byrne and Gallo, solid chunk of points in the championship. Vaughan Ryder, he's a non-issue because he's not in the championship fight. But the issue is now, De Bono, if Vaughan wasn't in the series, he would have had P3 and he would have been right behind Gallo and Byrne. Gowan's inside the 5, solid chunk of points. McCrowan, Loretti, same thing. Baker, not in the championship fight, but a solid chunk of points for the AMs. Matt Keane in P10. And on the first page, we don't even have Pete Ziedler. On the second page, we don't have Pete Ziedler.
Pete Ziedler finished, where is he?
P31.
P31, so
21 spots, so what's that, 42
10
positions?
points. So no, 42 points for P10, and for P31 is 10 points. So, look, just extends his lead by another 32 points. It's slowly becoming Matty Keane's title, but like we've said many times before, it's still too early to discount both drivers of who's going to win, because, like we said, it's easier to have a poor round than it is to go and have a stellar round, Hamish.
So now we mentioned Kevin Wakefield, what he needs to do, just get inside the top 16. And
So he finished, what, P24?
P24.
So that's 17 points for him. We said he needed 85. So what's that quick math? That's 68 points. So he needs to finish P18. And that'll be 69 points. If someone out there can double check my math, but absolutely not. And he's finished P24. He was up a handful of positions for that race anyway. So again, if he can keep it clean and just take the points as they come, he could find himself leading the AM Championship by the end of the evening, Hamish.
I think as well, one thing we're going to have to think about for the end of the season, Hutto, is just some gradings for some drivers of where we think they've gone on this season. Now, obviously, we can't grade everyone because not everyone's had a full season. I think tonight, out of the whole field, for probably disappointing performance in race 1 compared to the rest of their season, I'm going to have to, and he's going to drill into my brain because his whole personality is that he's racing with one hand, but I think Sheafy just really underperformed on it. Yes, he got in some crashes, but those crashes were avoidable that he got into. So I think he was.
Well, it's good to see. Well, it's not good to see, but it's good to see the solidarity and the, I guess the camaraderie and VRT cars all down the back. Yes.
I hope Jack hears that, and I hope he absolutely hounds us for saying that. But no, it's all right. There was a lot of solidarity between them down there. I think
one in, all in.
Yeah, that's it. Underperforming tonight as well. I think not Ben Ryder, Danny Davidson underperformed. Yes, he was caught in an incident, but again, underperformed, I think.
Well, that was the pit lane start for an infringement in qualifying.
Yeah,
Hamish.
so that's one thing that cost him. I actually think performing probably where I'd expect him to perform now based on his whole season. Sam Katakazinas inside the top 15. I don't expect Sam to get a top 5 this season based on his performances thus far. And in fact, I think he'll probably go down to Pro-Am next season. But Katakazinas, top 15, I think very respectable for the season that he's had.
Yeah, he's definitely been, I guess, up and down. He had a breakthrough season in the Pro-Ams. Was it season 2, I think it was, Hamish? He had a quieter season 3, being promoted to the pros, but the pro class has just grown in depth, and that kind of just pushes Katakazinos down the pecking order a little bit, Hamish. So it's not a surprise that we see him back in P15 or P14. And does he go back to Pro-Ams? Well, I guess the case to be made for both Matt Keane and Pete Zeidler to be promoted to the pros, because they're right, like in the overall points. They are right up there. They are amongst the pros.
I would say with the amount of pros that we have now that will get reseeded next season, I would make an argument that maybe Matt Keane would be the only one who would actually go up over Pete Zeidler, because I personally don't think that Pete Zeidler should go up before Matty Gerard.
Well, Matty Gerard's got to. He's got to turn up. That's the thing that'll hamper his, I guess, trying to win a championship. It's life, Hamish. We all have to work at some stage, and unfortunately, working gets in the way of our racing careers. But yeah, I think we spoke before. Like, you've got Sam Katakazinos, Matthew Keane, Pete Zeidler, Matthew Gerard. They're all that nucleus of. They could probably bounce between pro and pro-am week in, week out, because they just have not mixed results, but that's just where they sit. So, look, you never know. We might see the creation of a second split next season, but I guess that's up to the admin team to go over, digress, and decide on that one. But
I would like a second split of, I think, 30 and 30.
I think it needs to
at a
happen.
minimum, and I think it does need to happen. And I think it needs to go Pro 1, Pro 2, and then Pro M&M.
Yeah, or however it's split, like A, B, C, D. It doesn't really matter
whatever
what
it
name
is.
you call it. You know, bananas, oranges, apples, and kiwi fruit, whatever. But I think we've gotten to a level now, and the depth is, I guess, the level of skill at SRW, SFLs. We can now essentially put a line in the sand and say, hey, look, you know, these drivers need to be racing with each other, and these drivers need to be racing with each other as well. So I guess, yeah, it'll be down to the, like I said, the admin team to pick apart that one and see how registrations go next season, Hamish, because that's one thing that we've kind of not suffered from, but we just haven't had the numbers at the start of a season to get us over the line to create that second split. But then the numbers have seemed to pick up throughout the season, and like we see now, we've got, what, 40... How many drivers we have on track? We had 42 drivers on track
42.
just then, Hamish. 42 drivers in week 7 of a 9-week season. We haven't seen that before, Hamish. That is
strong.
incredible numbers.
Yeah, it's very, very strong. But starting grid for this race is as follows. It'll be how they finished in the last race. That the top 10 has been reversed. So Matt Keane will start pole. Ben Brook on P2, Tony Baker, Adrian Loretti on the second row, Daniel McCrowan, Doug Gowans, Dylan Bono, Vaughan Ryder. David Gallo and Daniel Byrne will make up our top 10, with everyone else slotting into where they finished in the last race. I think next season's probably the season to pull the trigger on that one, Huddo. And then you have questions of who gets into the AOWN. Honestly, AOWN, it should be the top 15 of, or the top 17 of first split, and then the top 3 of split 2 should get in, I think.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll just take a slightly different view. I just cut it at the top 20 in the top split. But I guess I guess if we have those 2 splits, you're rewarding the top 3, which is a very valid point as well, Hamish. I see both models being achievable, because if you say to the drivers that if you want to be in the AOWN, you have to make top split, then that's something for the drivers to aspire to. But yeah, I guess if you put the carrot there for P1, 2, 3 in split 2, that's also a very attractive option.
It would also be the fact of the top 3 from split 2 would go up to split 1 in the next season. So their first taster is racing with split 1 drivers in the AOWN. That would be the thought process.
Yeah, and that's also a very valid, I guess, idea or point, and I don't see anything wrong with that either, but I'd go further and say that the top 5 should be promoted, as we're just about to go green, Hamish.
I don't mind the idea either, Huddo, but lights up. Race 2 underway, 40 minutes around Watkins Glen. We saw chaos throughout race number 1. Do we get it happening again in race 2? Can they keep it clean on lap 1? Just like race number 1 previously, but there are some fast drivers up the back who'll be pushing to make positions early, and Matt Keen's had a killer start ahead of Ben Brook. Loretti's already up a position into P3 past Tony Baker, but now the tow becomes a factor. Are they going to go 4 wide into turn 5, or hold your breath and just hope that they make it through?
Yeah, the cars are just absolutely littered up and down that back straight. We're looking 2-3 wide just about at every little battle pack as they all concertina into that end of that corner at the back. And someone's off. Is that JWM car in the background,
Timothy
I think?
Schmalenberg, and that car is destroyed. This could be an early safety car in this race. Off the road, Tim Schmalenberg. Adrian Loretti has taken
David
the
Gallo
lead.
just got a bit of a shunt from another driver. Got a bit of the wobbles.
He's been allowed to tow back to pits. So Loretti leads. Keane, Brook, DeBono, Baker, McCrowan, Gowans, Pocock, Ryder, Byrne. That's the top 10. Gallo's now dropped outside the top 10. There are battles aplenty all throughout the field, and a massive moment and a rollover for Sean Benici. Got to be a safety car. Surely he's on his intake.
Yeah, I think this will bring out a safety car. And just an update on the Timothy Schmalenberg. He was not allowed to tow. He accidentally mapped his escape button to his radio button, and he,
So that'll be a drive-through for him, unfortunately.
That'll be a drive-through, yes.
So Brent Wassell's now P11. Jamie Davis inside the top 10. Daniel Byrne trying to fight forward. Been a ripper start for Dylan DeBono, and you have a feeling, Huddo, it could be DeBono's to win at this point now.
Has been called.
Okay, so the
safety car has been
there.
called.
Yep, I'm not that surprised, if I'm honest with you. That was a huge accident. Oh, fair play. I mean, Racing Shoal, they got a big job to do. There was a massive moment in this race. Let's look back at what's happened with Tim Schmalenberg and why he ended up off the road down at turn 5. So he was on the outside line. Oh, went way wide. Big snap oversteer and then into the wall. Yep, that's a big one. And then this was with Ray Oliver. We caught it as I changed the cameras. It was a mythical camera change, I must say. So Ray on the inside, caught on the front of Mitch Noble, and then, what a ride for Sean Benici. Massive moment early in this race. The safety car has been called, and that's a couple of cars that'll be licking their wounds, and unfortunately for them, having to use their fast repair nice and early in this race.
Yeah, so early on is not really when you want to be using your fast repair. So those 4 drivers will be, I guess, yeah. Sorry, just listen to the radio. Those drivers will have to be on their best behaviour and trying to bring it home for, when we get to racing again, Hamish.
So Adrian Loretti, you know what? I have a feeling, Hutto, if you're Tony Baker, nothing to fight for in the championship, you're strictly going for a win, you got a bit of gap back to Wassel, I reckon come in, take some fuel, push the strategy a little bit and just see what happens.
Tony Baker, not after 1 or 2 laps. I think it would be detrimental. He'd be losing a lot of ground, whereas like Matt Keane's another 10 seconds behind Loretti. So had Matt Keane actually dropped off a bit more, Loretti may have been able to have a bit of a pit stop, but I think Loretti's just gunned it to try and catch the safety car. And yeah, I guess the pack's just got to catch up, but every driver will just be circulating, trying to just get through the motions, catch the pack, and they'll get this race sorted and underway hopefully very soon, Hamish.
Well, what about then if you're in Kevin Wakefield's position? You got to try and roll the dice as much as you can. Further back in the field, P30. You're giving up some spots, but you could easily make them back up later in the race, and maybe a better spot to be in up the back than around this point.
Well, for Kevin Wakefield, it's all about points, right? So I'm not sure he's come into the pits. He has given up a handful of spots early on, and I guess his game plan, as probably every week, and the race 1 was just keep it clean, take the points when they fall. So I imagine he'll be just trying to run through the motions, pit when he needs to, stay out of trouble, and bring home as many points as he can, Hamish.
Sean Benici in the chat, I don't know what happened. You ever seen a dryer, Sean? That's what you did. You went on the spin cycle.
And Tim Schmalenberg back out on track, and he'll probably be slapped with a drive-through penalty for towing without permission, as we'll see after the restart, Hamish.
You sound very disappointed as a team owner there, Hutto.
Oh, you never want to see your teammates get smacked with penalties or poor performances, but it's just, it's one of those things, mate. Accidents happen, you get in a fluster sometimes, but not, I guess, mapping your pit key to your mic key is probably one of those things that you don't do.
Well, majority of wheels nowadays have an actual escape button on them.
Perhaps he, needs to get a different wheel, or just reach over and change the key back to whatever happens to be. Well, it's done now. He's sitting in behind Adrian Loretti, just circulating. I guess he'd be hoping to get the wave around to push through, but
so
he needs to filter to the back of the He needs to filter to the back of the pack thing, though, Hamish.
Yeah, he does. He needs to do a drive-through. Plus, he then also needs to get his wave around. I mean, he can't commit to his drive-through under the safety car, but if he can at least
he
get
can't
his
get a wave.
back,
He shouldn't get a wave around either. Like
he didn't cause the safety car though. Technically.
But he's towed without permission.
This is true.
So, do you give him a drive? Like, essentially, they just need to move him out of the way. I don't know how they'll negate this one. Whether they tell him just to, it'll be interesting for race control to sort out.
So Loretti had an absolutely killer start. He has gone up to P1 on the road now. He's got Keane, Brook, DeBono in behind him. DeBono will be loving this because he's staying inside the top 5. He doesn't necessarily need to attack Brook, Keane, or Loretti just yet. He's trying to chew down on the time and wait to the final 10 minutes before he can really put an attack on them. So this is working in his favour.
Yeah, so I guess there's a few drivers just biding their time, waiting for the ideal... Ooh. So I'm just listening to S-Control, car 11 pointing out that there's cars blinking out on track. I think the car in front, car 80, might have a bit of a blinking issue, but yeah nothing on my end at all, Hamish.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything wrong with it either. Andrew Rushworth saying my rule number 1 is never have a tow button on the wheel. Always make it escape key. That way you have to actually reach for it and don't press by accident.
Who's driving on their phone? Who's that inset? Driving on their phone. That's illegal.
That's Adrian Loretti. We've caught him pulling a naughty. Let's tell Barbs. He's sending messages to a Facebook group chat.
It's a pity we can't zoom in and stick your beak even further. Well, it's quite amusing, Hamish.
We could, but we can't. We can't rewind and pause it. No, we're not actually going to do that, of course. One thing. I mean, there's more illegal things we could find. There's Kyle Gretsch. Let me check if he is or not. He's not doing it at the moment. I was going to check if he's actually got his vape in his hand, but he's not. He's just looking very He's looking very, very tired at the moment. Oh, there it is. He did have it in his hand. I knew it. I knew it. I knew he'd have that. There's Cal. Mr. Rosenegger.
Alan Hodgkinson's just pulled to the back of the field. I wonder if he's had issues. It said that he's crashed, but I think he's just pulled up short. So
yeah.
I missed the calls on over race control.
Cowie's also got, I think. Has he got? He does. Is he driving with a cigarette in his hand? I think he might be. The beauties of the driver cameras, ladies and gentlemen. We love. You know what? It's a bit of fun. We saw Peter Pavlovic have a beer last night during the VIR race in the 80-minute enduro. Fair play, you know. It's just I think Kyle knows. He's smiling on his camera. I can see now. I think he knows he was on stream having a hit of his vape. Oh, fantastic. You love to see it. But restart's about to get underway, Hutto. Predictions for the restart? Do you think we're going to get anything ultra chaotic or inconsistent?
I think Schmalenberg needs to just pull in the pits, just take a simulated drive through now, and then be handled his penalty. He needs to get out of the way of these drivers at the front and just grin and bear it, unfortunately.
Yep, I think he does. Rushy. You love to see it. Adrian the Ready, though, leads the way. Matt Keane will be P2. Schmalenberg is going to hang with them. I agree with you, Hutto. He should have just pulled it in.
We're starting to see the concertina. I reckon we'll see some nose-to-rear contact at that final corner. Yep. Because Loretti is holding them all the way to the line.
He is. He's not giving them anything at this stage. As we get underway once again, Adrian Loretti leads the way. As we rocket around turn
blinking?
1.
Yeah,
that's
Benjamin
Brooke.
Brooke is blinking.
Yeah. So that will, I mean, Tabono needs to be cautious, but he's going to try and send it on him anyway.
There we go. Schmalenberg is pulling wide, getting out of the way.
Smart play from Schmalenberg there. He didn't have to do that, but that's the smartest option. As Keane's coming back at Adrian Loretti now, side by side towards turn number 5. Brooke and Tabono side by side as well. Tabono needs to be careful because if Brooke blinks out and he's alongside him, he's not going to know where he is on track.
Just hearing a lot of chatter over race control as well. I guess the restart's being reviewed right now, Hamish. Wondering if people are in their correct positions. Like I said, there was a bit of concertina and a few drivers anticipating the jump. So, yeah. Oh, they're blinking out again.
Yeah, this is becoming a real struggle for Dylan Tabono.
There we go. But if he can just get it done and put Brooke behind him, that'll be the main thing. But
Brooke's not willing to give it up. And it's his right to fight for it, remember. He is a pro, and even though he's not battling Tabono for the championship, he's battling him for bragging rights, isn't he? Battling him for position on the road.
Oh, Tony Baker, good run in on Brooke there's in the final corners.
He tried to send it, could not quite get it done. As we continue on through now. Doug Gowan's at the fast lap of the race, it's claimed a 137.416 as the fastest lap. So that's a great lap there from Dougie in racing conditions. Ocean Colangelo's had a moment at turn 1. Jason Depp's been spun round as well. pure chaos down there, Hutto.
Well, it seems like the drivers managed to navigate those two cars that was facing the other way just a second ago. So
what's happened? She's tried to send it on the inside of Ratcliffe, caught the curb, and round she went. And that's just... I mean, that could have caused chaos.
Oh, drivers scrambling everywhere. Oh, hold the brakes. Yeah.
Davis has done a good job here tonight. He's just in behind Daniel Byrne, who won race number 1 this evening. He's back in P9 at this stage. These guys trying to fight their way through the field. Further up, the battle continues as Baker tries to get past Brooke. Loretti and De Bono have now been passed. Oh, De Bono, sorry, he's now past Matt Keane. He's also gotten past Adrian Loretti. Brooke is blinking like all heck at the moment. He's going to have to bring that thing in and get it fixed up, Hutto, because this is just dangerous at this point. I mean, I'm not blaming Ben because he's not turning his modem on and off consistently to make himself blink, but it's, you got to have a bit of wherewithal about the other drivers as well.
He may be unaware that he's actually blinking himself, Hamish, unless he's privy to the race or the calls that are going through to race control. He may be completely unaware.
This is true. It's very, very true. Daniel McCrowan has now gotten past Doug Gowans as well. Looks to chase down Tony Baker. Bearbrook trying to make a move on Matt Keane as they enter the back straight, side by side, drag race down towards turn 5. Brooke gets the job done, and now Keane just needs to be cautious. Katakazinis and Davison, they're battling as well, further back in the field. I want to see where Mr. Wakefield is. He's real far back. In fact, he's actually taken a pit stop on lap 5. As Doug Gowans has gone round, and that's a massive shot! Oh, this is going to be a safety car again, surely. That was huge. It's still happening. So what's happened to Dougie? Because he was in behind. He had Baker on his outside. Oh.
Safety car has been called.
Yep.
Who's that Hornet car? That's
God, that was Baker.
Tony Baker. And the DFR car spinning through the air, who I think
and then
got
Kane Ryder
Jake
also
Dixon.
got caught up as well.
Jake Dixon got shunted back to pit lane after that one.
Yeah, he found the Shadow Realm. And then there was Kane Ryder into the wall. So that's massive at this point in the race. A second safety car. We do apologise for the blinking. I've actually found out, Hutto, that this is actually a really bad iRacing issue at this stage. This is not even something to do with my settings. It's just affecting people to no end.
Absolutely, and I think we've seen it the last couple of weeks, and I've seen on social media, going on Reddit, people popping up clips, and yeah, I guess the netcode issue is really starting to rear its head and became a bit of an issue with the was the 8 hours of Fuji over the weekend as well, Hamish.
Yeah, so not just netcode as well, but like the blinking we can see here. This is literally, because I know JP had a similar issue during some broadcasts. This is when iRacing decides to send everything down one core when there's heaps of particles on track. So there's not much we can do about this to fix this now, because this is literally like, doesn't matter what CPU you've got, if it sends it down one core, it doesn't save it at all. So yeah, hopefully iRacing fixes it for the Season 1 patch. I hope they fix it for that reason.
Well, Hamish, we've got a bit of a gap to fill before we get underway again. I'll just take a look at the leaderboard, the ladder, and see who's our big movers and shakers so far, Hamish. I think we've got Callan Hodgkinson up 33 positions. He did not pit at all. Johnny Rowe up 26. Andrew Cowan up 23. But let's look back at the drivers that have pitted already. We got Jack Mickelson, the giraffe, Jack Mickelson, plus 19 positions. Tyler Sheaf up 15. Pete Zeidler up 14. So a lot of drivers profiting from the early chaotic exchanges, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean, is this a smart play from Brooke, Baker, Wassell, Martin, Cowan, Hodgson and Rowe at this point? I don't know.
Well, in saying that, so I think we figured out that so the tank's at 50%, that's 23 litres, and it should last them about 22 minutes if they're in green conditions. Having one safety car so far, and now the second, they'll be able to save a bit more fuel. So, and seeing that the leaders were all coming in, like the entire field has essentially came in except for a few that have rolled the dice. the drivers would be banking on at least another 2 safety cars, I think, to really get them home. To turn that 22 minutes into 40 minutes, Hamish, you'd really have to pray and take it easy on the fuel, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean, do we see another safety car happening? We've had 2 in the span of 20 minutes, so we're on form for 4.
It's like, I don't think 4 will happen. Let's say, 16 minutes, average of 8 per, or 1 safety car every 8 minutes. Next one occurs at the 24. Well, I don't want to see it happen. I think we will have another one. We might have our 3rd, but I don't think we want to see 4 safety cars. Otherwise, the whole race has essentially just been under safety car, Hamish.
Yeah, there's not much more we can do about that. Hopefully, the drivers though can keep nice and clean, and just keep themselves in check. So Hodgkinson is blinking like mad. He's actually just lost a spot to De Bono. Through all that, he's coming back past now. Can we even predict what's going to happen? I mean, if we get another safety car, all of a sudden the top 7 could possibly make it home on fuel. But De Bono right now, I think he's in the hot seat and he'd be the hot favourite to take this win tonight.
Yes, he's still got to navigate a little bit of traffic in front of him, and hopefully those guys don't come to a grievance and spin out, or cause any further chaos. But I guess he's sitting in a very fortunate position now. I'm just looking back through the field where his 2 closest rivals in Gallo and Byrne are sitting. Byrne back in P12, so only 5 positions adrift, so that'll be good points back for De Bono after dropping 6 points in the opening heat. And David Gallo down in P26, must have got caught up in an early incident in race 2, Hamish.
So he pit on lap 5. I have to wonder if he's actually been caught up in that massive stack with Doug Gowans, possibly having to take evasive action.
It was a big stack, wasn't it, Hamish? Yeah. Have we got another replay of that, I think?
We do. We will pre-apologise for the blinking that occurs. Not much we can do about it when it's happened on a replay. But I'll find when it happened, and we'll run on board with Dougie. So I just got to scroll up here through all the people going into pit lane. Here we go. So there's Doug. Let's go. Roll bar. So this is what happened with Dougie down here at turn 5. So he got turned around by Baker. And then there's Ryder. I mean, there's not much Ryder could do, or Doug could do about that. The car was ricocheted into the spot. He couldn't even hold brakes to save his life. At that point...
just cars are fanging around the corner. And
So so that's...
At that point, you're just, praying. And poor Dougie in the bloody motion rig.
Yeah, he's just sitting there like, please don't hit me.
Copping it.
He would. He really would. So he'll be sitting there thinking, please don't hit me. I don't want to move any more than I already have. Callan Hodgson's dropped behind De Bono again.
So unsure if... De Bono pitted it. And mind you, Callan was towards the back of the pack. So I wonder if they were just, seeing who came out in front at the blue cone, perhaps, Hamish.
Quite possibly. Loressi's just in behind them as well. So let's see if he's on his phone again. He's not, so no texting from Mr. Loressi. Is Mr. Gretsch having a puff of his vape again? I reckon he's got it in his hand. He is. Yep, we got him on the exhale. Oh, my God.
And I've just heard that safety car will be doing one more lap.
Okay, so now we can run through this. Mr. I think they've just told Kyle that we've caught him on broadcast again, because Cal is having a laugh to himself. He is in the Discord chat with Kyle at this moment in time. He's not doing anything.
I think it's also race control's giving the field a bit of a spray right now. So a few drivers that are just being chirpy, and I guess back chat is definitely not tolerated. So the drivers better be on their best behaviour.
Hey, fair play to race control. It's a very, very tough job. One of the mindsets if you ever think about, I want to do race control or whatever, the mindset you got to bring into it, Hutto, is you don't take nothing. You just you give.
Sometimes you have to rule with an iron fist.
Exactly. You take what they give to you, and then you give it back about 10 times as worse.
And we've both, done a little stint in race control, Hamish and I, and to be honest, it's definitely not my it's not my cup of tea. I thought doing broadcasting was hard, you know, looking at different screens and timing towers and having to try and keep conversation and engaging with other people. But look, race control is a different kettle of fish. If it's like a free-flowing race and there's no safety cars, well then, yeah, you're laughing. But I guess on a night like tonight with 41 drivers and several stacks already and trying to filter through who needs wave rounds, who doesn't need wave rounds, penalties and reviewing incidents, it's just a very busy evening for race control, unfortunately, tonight.
Yeah, and, you know, I still like to the fact that when I race controlled, no tickets were put in for my race control calls, but not every race is like that. And I have a feeling that knowing at how feisty this SFL field is, we're probably going to see an inundated amount of tickets come in.
Yeah, perhaps. I guess, yeah, my debut, or I was with, Greg Barber in race control, which was the GR86s at Lebanon, I think, a nice up and down circuit, plenty of incidents, and that made me not want to do race control pretty soon after.
Yeah, I mean, we had it at, me and Chiefy had it together on our own at Okayama. So that was fun in 8.6s. Oh, just cars on their roofs, moments happening. Just trying to keep everyone in the stern.
That was not long ago, was it, Hamish? Only several weeks ago?
Yeah, only a couple of weeks ago. It was this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if anyone out there is wanting to try race control, don't be off put by what Hamish and I are saying. But
if they offer the GR86s, definitely jump on it, because that's probably actually the best place to get thrown.
That's where you need to cut your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best place for you to learn race control because you are thrown in at the deep end. Supercars on the Sunday isn't quite as feisty. Tuesday is hit or miss. Wednesday, it's feisty, but we got the paper
mache machines.
Yeah,
right,
so
there's always going to be something.
Well, this is where you need a Panadol.
Oh, absolutely. But look, I think the thing is, if you're going to look at doing race control, go and do it. Do race control for a week, then take 2 weeks off, then come back. Like, unless you get blessed with zero safety cars, zero incidents, or very limited incidents, then come back the next week. But yeah, if you're cop an absolute earful and it's very busy, and sometimes race control's job can go well after a race is finished, Hamish.
Oh, it can. And, when I did it, a driver wanted to chat to me after the race. I was happy to chat to them briefly. We sorted it out very quickly of what they just had a clerical question more so than a penalty question. We got it finished pretty quickly, but there were probably about 5 or 6 incidents that myself and Chiefy had to look at post-race. And eventually we just decided, right, he's getting a 20-point penalty, he's getting a 20-point penalty. That's NFA because of netcode, and it's what you do. But that's race control. But we're getting underway once again. Ben Brook has gone green.
Underway.
He's gone green very early there, Hutto, and he's caught out a couple of drivers in the background. Hopefully
race control is, it's a very busy night. Hats off to race control tonight.
Oh, Daniel McCrowan's gone round at turn 1. And now he's dropping spots. He needs to be patient. He's blocking the pit exit, but you know what? Fair play to Daniel. Great little fixation spin from him. That was actually well controlled. He did a very good job. Brook leads the way, though. Baker in P2. Nick Martin up into P4. But our provisional race leader is Dylan DeBono, who has taken a pit stop in this race. Less than 14 minutes left to run as Daniel Byrne is off the road, and this is big implications for the championship, Hutto.
Oh, where to look, Hamish? We've got battles, we've got controversy, we've got RC absolutely getting peppered tonight. Oh, yeah, look, it's a busy night, Hamish.
It is. It's incredibly busy. It's incredibly feisty. It's the final sprint round of the season. Only 2 rounds to go after tonight. They're both normal rounds on offer for us. And at this stage, Dylan DeBono is trying to find his way back through the field. He's back up into P6. He's up a spot from where he started. And the 5 cars ahead of him need a pit stop to make it home. We do apologise for the blinking once again. Not much more we can do about it, unfortunately, at this stage. As we run through turn number 1.
Nuggy Gowan's requesting a tow now.
Wow. Where is... Oh, he's been allowed to tow back. So no safety car for Mr. Gowans there.
And I think that's very understandable. Like,
I think unless
wow.
Wow.
I'm just... Oh, there's another car requesting a tow. Who's sat there?
Is it Josh King? No, he's rolling. Daniel Byrne, he's going. Nick Schmellenberg. Who have we got? So no, not Ocean Colangelo. He was stationary at the moment. I think it was it maybe Nick? He was rolling back to pit lane. Unsure. Unsure at this stage.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Hamish, between what we're talking about and listen to RC, I think RC's saying more words than what we are. It's very, very busy over the airways.
I just want to point out, Dylan DeBono's just gone a lap ahead of Daniel Byrne.
I think Byrne just needs to take the point. That's unfortunate what's happened now. He's got a sore nose. He'll limp it back to pits, take what points he can. Look, you take the good with the bad. This season's been a matter of back and forth, and there's 2 more rounds to come, Hamish. So I would be, I guess, 2 down in the dumps, being Daniel Byrne. Yet there's still 2 more weeks to try and go out and get that title.
Well, the one thing we now see anything about is the F1 Shadow Series as well. So DeBono is Byrne, is back in P37. David Gallo's in P19. So that's 18 positions. 18 by 3 is the gap between positions, Hutto?
Yeah, roughly something like that. And Gallo already had was it Gallo or Byrne? No, it was David Gallo. Already had a 105-point lead back to... Oh, no, sorry, he had a 266-point lead back to his teammate in Daniel Byrne. So would only need an extra... We would have to outscore Daniel by... No, have to outscore him by 105 points to clinch the title tonight, which I don't think is quite possible, seeing as they all placed in the top 3 in race 1. So yeah, I think the F1 title will most likely be decided next week, Hamish.
Yeah, I would say that's going to be the case. I mean, it's going to be an insurmountable mountain to climb for Daniel Byrne. This will likely be his drop round tonight, because I don't believe he's missed a round this season. So this now completely changes up the championship, Hutto. Because all of a sudden his previous drop round changes.
Hodgkinson.
Yeah, Hodgkinson has spun it round. So it's going off here, Hutto. More and more drivers losing out of positions. I have to wonder if some drivers maybe haven't taken tyres.
Yeah, but I think being under safety car would have salvaged their tyres quite a bit, Hamish. So yes, there are a lot of sweeping corners and probably drivers trying to, I guess, go to the limit of adhesion. And just coming unstuck for Hamish.
Pete Zeeler's off the road as well. Where is that? Oh, that's up.
That's a wonky car.
Corner.
Is it?
He's still going. I don't know why he's pulled over. Maybe he was serving a slowdown for whatever reason.
I did hear his number mentioned over the airways several times, Hamish, so who knows what was going on there. If only we had a full RC transcript.
Oh, imagine if we could implement a system of being able to hear RC on the broadcast.
Oh, I think we'd almost be able to. It'd be nice if it was all in words, but
we'd probably get strikes on YouTube, to be fair.
Yeah, we might get in trouble for that one. Yeah. And constantly apologising for...
Well, one thing I do want to point out, I don't want to put the moz on him and touch wood, but Kevin Wakefield's in P22. He needs 4 more positions to equal Keegan Caldwell's points in this AM Championship, Hutto. And with 8.5 minutes to go, he's in P21. He's got 2 cars ahead of him. He could get to P19, which would close the gap up massively.
I guess you've also got to look realistically, Hamish. He's going to pass Jay Dixon, Colangelo, Sheaf and Gallo. Or at least he'd get up a few more spots. Like, he'd be hoping for... Oh, Baker's in. Tony Baker is pitting.
And actually, that's one thing we need to think about as well, is how far back are those top 5 who haven't pitted? How far back are they going to fall down the order tonight?
Well, I think DeBono is doing swimmingly at the moment. He's up into P3, the next driver being Adrian Loretti, sitting in P6. So I guess we expect Benjamin Brook, Brent Wassell, Andrew Cowan, Nicholas Martin, and Johnny Rowe to come into the pits soon, Hamish.
You would expect that. Baker's exiting pit lane. Here's Wakefield. So that's a crucial position gain for Kevin Wakefield. P20 on the road for him. So that means that those other drivers could very well drop down the order tonight, Hutto, and that could give him the crucial positions that he needs. As DeBono,
getting closer and closer.
He is, as DeBono battles with Brent Wassell. 33 minutes, into this race. 7 minutes to go. DeBono gets it done up the inside on Brent Wassell. Now looks to chase down Benjamin Brook. And if any of these drivers who haven't pitted yet can make it home on fuel, out of all of them, I think it's probably Cowie.
Yeah, I guess Cowie had a bit of practice, what was it, last night in the V8s, trying to fuel save before coming unstuck. So, yeah, perhaps he can take his skills across to tonight and bring it home for the amateurs.
Well, it'll be one hell of a way to do it. It'll be his first class win here in the SFLs in a feature or a normal round. As DeBono comes around the final corner. Lap 16 starting now. None of the top 4 cars who haven't pitted have come in this lap. So the question is, have they saved enough? Or do they just need to keep on trucking until the very last moment that they can come in? Can't really hope for a safety car, Hutto, because we're only a minute away from the cutoff.
Yeah, I don't think a safety car will get called at this late stage. So I guess if anyone out there with their number 2 had that prediction, congratulations.
I don't know if anyone else did actually put in their predictions. As DeBono looks to get this done on Ben Brook. At turn 5, sends it round. Brook's having a fuel save, and DeBono's now back into the lead. And it's a mammoth points gain tonight if he can pull off this miraculous win. It was P4 in race 1, P1 in race 2 would give him an immense advantage over Daniel Byrne in this championship. And it would force Byrne to take every single point that he's had prior to this race. And this race will become his drop round.
And the drive-through penalties is still coming through thick and fast, Hamish. I think Pete Ziedler is just transiting through pits, and then another driver, I just missed the number, 1-3, I can't actually, pick it through the field. But yeah, there's another drive-through just being handed out by race control just now.
Would have been Vaughan
138.
Ryder, 138, yeah, Vaughan Ryder. So that would be why.
Oh, Nick Martin just happened to fuel save into the corner there.
Yeah,
as
Ray
well.
Oliver as well. It's going slow quickly in the background, so there's some strategy at play for some drivers tonight, Hutto. I don't think it's over just yet.
No, what's the time? We've got 35 minutes, still another 5 minutes of racing, and these drivers are having to fuel save hard now, Hamish. And look, it'll be spectacular if these drivers can get it done, but I think they were really preying on having that extra safety car. But look, at times you've just got to roll the dice and see how it goes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Well, that's it. A bit of a dice roll can pay off for you. Dylan DeBono on the last lap. It's the fastest lap of the race, a 1:34.7. So he is rocketing at the front of the field, 2 seconds ahead of Ben Brook. Brent Wassell's now putting him under pressure, and what a miraculous AM win this would be for Wassell if he could pull it off. It's maximum fuel save.
He's also not pitted yet, so look, you can hear and see Nicholas Martin and Cowie fuel saving. I might just jump on board with Benjamin Brooks, see if we can hear him getting out of the throttle as he approaches a corner. Not just yet, perhaps towards the at the end of the main straight there.
I like how Brent Wassell's claiming once he gets a rig and pedals, he'll be fast.
No, I think Benjamin Brooks coming in the pits. There we go.
He is.
Let's pull the trigger.
So Wassell continues on. So Brooks in. Does anyone else follow? Cowie or Martin? I don't think Cowie does. Does Martin follow him in? No, he keeps it going. What about Johnny Rowe? He's kept it going as well. David Gallows had to bring it into pit lane. Has he got a penalty, Hutto?
Unsure, didn't hear anything over the airways, but I'll just ride on board with him and see what's going on. He's pitting. Well, having to pit. He did. Unless he's sustained damage out there somewhere, Hamish. The rear wheel looks alright, the front wheel looks okay.
Well, this now, all of a sudden, after two unfortunate, unlucky weeks for Dylan De Bono, where he's been taken out to no fault of his own, he's back in form, and the opportunity's now been handed back to him, which, personally, fair enough for Dylan. It's unfortunate for Gallo and Byrne, who are now dropping points on him. But
Dylan's had some rough weeks. Like, the last 2 weeks have been
no fault of his own. There's been a massive stack at the laces. Cowie's been involved. I believe Ben Ryder's been involved, as well as Nathan Verney. What has happened down there?
I reckon they've been caught out by Cowie trying to fuel save and just going that smidge slower, Hamish.
Let's have a look. There's Cowie outside line. Oh, Ryder caught the curb and then backed it into him. What has happened with these drivers? Wassels had to come into pit lane as well, Hutto.
Oh, he's just...
looks
like he's come in on Verney.
Yeah. Very weird.
Johnny Rowe is in. Nick Martin is in.
Yep. So they.
Oh no, sorry, Johnny Rowe's still go. No, Johnny Rowe's still going.
He is too. He is still going.
He's going for the win, Johnny Rowe, and I guess Tony Baker will just be hoping that he pits and. Johnny Rowe's going slow. Is he? He's not out of fuel, is he?
Surely not.
Oh, Johnny Rowe.
He's missed his box. He had to pit this lap. He's out of fuel.
Oh, devastation.
Johnny Rowe out of fuel, pushed the limit a little bit too far. Just checking back in with Kevin Wakefield as well. He's now up to P24 on the road. So he's been just giving up some positions nice and easily here, but he's about to get another one back since Johnny Rowe has to tow back to pits. But this is... have you just been kicked from the session, Hutto?
No. There we go. Back with the cricket.
I was about to say, did you just cop that packet loss?
No.
Okay. That's all right then. So Cowie's in pit lane. Actually, Cowie's out of the race still. He's parked up on the side of the road. He's waiting for a tow. White flag. 1 lap left to run. Dylan De Bono has got 8.4 seconds in hand over Adrian Loretti at this stage. So this is a massive points gain tonight for Dylan De Bono, who is 20 positions ahead of David Gallo. The quick maths for you on that. 60 points he would be gaining over David Gallo in this race. With Daniel Byrne, who is out and back in P33. What's that gain for him? That is 32 positions.
32 times 3, roughly.
96.
It's a big points differential. That's what, Hamish.
Yeah, but it would be a drop round for Daniel Byrne at this point because this is easily his worst round of the season. But De Bono has kept it cool, calm and collected. We mentioned he was unlucky the last 2 weeks, caught up in incidents that were no fault of his own. Really put a blunder on his championship. But tonight, he's back in form. He's given himself one hell of a lifeline in this championship and put himself in prime position to head into Spain next week out at Jerez to get a maximum performance under his belt and then head into the undroppable round at Daytona for the night race, under lights, on the bowl, on the road course, to claim his first title here in SFLs for SRW, but around the final corner for the VSL driver of Dylan De Bono through End of Heartache. A win once again. Dylan De Bono crosses the line, P1 out of Watkins Glen for race 2. Adrian Loretti comes across the line, P2 on the road, and a miraculous return to form. Pocock will make up the podium. Matty Keane will come across the road for the Pro-Ams, P1 and P5 overall here tonight. Tony Baker, after many monumental moments having to save fuel, pit earlier in the race, will come home P14 and P1 for the AMs.
How about that, Hamish? This entire race has just turned the championship, not so much on its head, but huge implications, big movers, big losers out of it. It's a statistician's dream right now, Hamish.
Well, there's one of the biggest losers, David Gallo. P20 on the road tonight, Hutto. So, not as much of a net loss, 19 positions behind Dylan De Bono. But importantly, Daniel Byrne, P30 on the road, and 29 positions worth of points dropped to Dylan De Bono in this championship. It's just heated up once again.
I think we've just seen the momentum swing back towards the VSL stable. Look, it was the momentum was with Dylan in the first 3 races. I think he almost went. He won the first 5, or almost went perfectly for the first 3 rounds, and then it all just kind of went pear-shaped. There was a few unfortunate events. There was a spin there somewhere, I think at Road America, and then the ball was in the Carlin Motorsport court. And now it's back over with VSL, even though it's a very early call and say that, but the momentum has now swung back to VSL, and now this championship is really going to go down to the wire, because we know that it's 2v1, Hamish. That's the thing. And can De Bono keep his composure and go out and win the championship?
Well, he needs to hope that that his teammates in Doug Gowans and co can help support him in this season. In attempting to win his first championship here in the Super Formula Lights, he's worked hard at it all of 2024. He's come uber close this year. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, all lost in the dying embers. This season, he's returned with a vengeance, and this season, he's returned in form. And returned with a hope, and with the best possible chance he's had all year to win a championship, Hutto.
Yeah, I guess we can't hold our, or we shouldn't hold our breath, Hamish, or we're going to have to. But tonight has just shaped up as it's given him a bit of breathing space, but it now puts him in a very good position for these final 2 rounds.
It does indeed. So we will obviously have our points updated for next week, Hutto. After next week, we'll have points locked in. Drop rounds are locked in. We'll know the exact status quo, the exact point at where drivers need to finish in that final round to win a championship, and who they need to beat. I mean, that's the scenario we're going to be when we head out to Daytona for Florida. Under lights, fireworks aplenty. We penciled this race in how many months ago now? Like 8 months ago, Hutto?
Quite a while ago. I think we spoke about it. Yeah, very early in the season. So,
yeah.
Look, I'm looking forward to it. I've always looked forward to a Wednesday night, but more so these last 2 races are going to be an absolute fireworks, and then we're going to have fireworks at the season's end, Hamish.
Well, we're just awaiting our podium finishers to hop into the green room here this evening. We've got a couple of them already. I believe Scotty Pocock and Adrian Loretti coming for chats with us. We'll wait for our class winners to come have a chat to us as well for Keane and Baker, if they do come and have a chat to us, of course.
Well, Keane's normally keen for a chat, but
he is.
I guess he's a resident here in the broadcast room or in the green room after a race. Perhaps we just bring in.
We'll start with Scotty Pocock, I think. We'll start with our P3 and P2 on the road tonight. Mr. Pocock.
G'day.
P3 on the road after what can only be described as chaos.
Yeah, it usually is around here. First, I just got to apologise for my husky voice. It was turning Jay Dixon on a bit in our Discord, but yeah. So sorry if I run out of voice. Yeah, it's pretty chaotic around here. Fast corners that you can go side by side in after like long straights, and it's always chaos here.
Yeah, I guess a good result there, Scott. We've talked about the chaos. How much hazard avoidance was out in front of you, or was it kind of clear sailing whilst you made up your eight spots to get back up on the podium.
Yeah, there were some very lucky incidents that I made the right decision. I went right instead of left, and vice versa. Yeah, maybe there was a pretty major incident between Adrian, I think it was Byrne, and myself. I think Byrne ended up in the fence. Yet to review that, but there was I think I was on the lucky end of some net code.
Yeah, we did see Byrne with a rather sore nose throughout the race. He ended up having to pit and finish down in P30, so managed to bring back a few spots towards the end there. I guess, Scott, the title race between the top three seems to be just, the top three seem to gap the rest of the pro class. Where does your attentions lie running into the end of the season? And I guess you'd have one eye on the Australian Open Wheel Nationals.
Yeah, I think it's the top 15 or top 20 go through to that. So I like doing that. I really enjoyed it last time round. So that's really my goal this season, is to get into that. I played the long game last season, and finished really well. But I'm actually enjoying the bit more racing this season. So and putting less effort into practice. To be fair, just turning up on the day and putting some laps in. But different seasons can give you can take the different sort of attention, I guess. It depends on what you want to achieve from it.
Yeah, and I guess Hamish and I were chuffed when you won your debut race at Mosport. Correct me if I'm wrong. And and I guess like the monkeys off the back. You've gone out, you've got that win, and you've turned your attention to a more relaxed approach to the race, and going to I guess you probably will qualify for the top. It's the top 20 that'll go through to the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. So yeah, fantastic. I guess save your voice a little bit.
Yeah,
would you like to thank anyone out there and tell us who gets you out on track there, Scott?
Just like to thank my teammate Pete and the DFR guys. We sit in the Discord together and go through the strategies and things like that. So especially in a race like this where you've got lots of side by side, it really helps having spotters around you that are also in the thick of it. So thanks to them, and also thanks to my wife who went and got fish and chips for us, so I could do a bit of practice. I didn't have to cook tonight.
Good on her. And perhaps a few menthols or something for that sore throat.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, Scott, thank you so much for coming over chat to us, mate. Best of luck next week out at Jerez. We look forward to seeing how you go, and if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck in the final round of the season at Daytona the week after.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Let's be honest, Hutto, we were only happy that he won that race because we got the prediction.
We picked
right.
it. Yeah. Absolutely right.
That's the only reason. The only reason we were happy was because we predicted it right.
We always like to see a debutant or like a debut win. Everyone clinched their first race, so that was a very exciting race actually. So let's get our next driver in, Hamish.
Yeah, we'll have a quick chat to Adrian Loretti, who is P2 on the road here tonight. We'll then move on to Matt Keane just after that for the Pro-Am win. Mr. Loretti on the podium, on the cams as well, buried in your rig tonight. We saw you sending some messages earlier under the safety car. Number one, who was the recipient of that message? And number two, what were you talking about?
Yeah, thank you. I think it was actually Darren I was messaging at that time. He's not racing tonight, so I was just filling him in.
Very good. I guess. I
was going to ask. I mean, what was it like from your perspective? Because our perspective, it was chaotic and carnage-filled, controversy-filled, and not really knowing where to look all race because anything could have happened at any moment.
Yeah, no, it was messy. There was a lot of stuff going on. Feel sorry for race control, but no, I actually practiced for this race first time this season, so hopefully it's showing. So I don't know if I'll be doing that the next couple of races, but I thought I'd give it a go and did a few laps yesterday.
Yeah, very good. And I guess you're known to make your way through the pack, Adrian. You started, I guess, race one about mid-pack as per usual. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Yeah, how was it trying to navigate? I guess you already mentioned it was quite messy with the incidents, but how was it being that qualifying was so tight from P1 down to almost P25, and negating the different skill levels without the incidents?
Yeah, if you don't, with quali, if you don't get a tow, forget it. And then you've got the guys that are normally a little bit slower that get a tow, so they're up in the mix. So it makes it some interesting racing. But I don't even know where I started the first race. I think it was like 13th or something. But yeah, I was able to sort of work my way up a little bit, and then start towards the front in the second race, and it was enough to sort of stay up there.
Yeah, fantastic. And you've done fairly well this season. You were sitting P7 prior to the race, and probably move up a few more spots over your teammate Jay Dixon with a few misdemeanors. I guess getting towards the end of the season as well, the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. This will be hopefully your first appearance in the Open Wheel Nationals, Adrian?
Yeah, it'll be my first, and I'll definitely be there, and might actually practice for it too.
Yeah, well, I guess you reap the rewards of practice, seeing your P2 this week, and yeah, fantastic efforts from me. Hamish?
Well, Adrian, another solid performance from yourself here tonight. It was great to see you. I mean, you took the lead very, very early in this race, battled at the front of end of town all night through race number 2, but let us know helps get you and DFR out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well? Myself, Hutto, and the rest of the league. Congratulations on P2 here tonight out of Watkins Glen.
Yep. Just a shout out to all DFR, just the guys that we race with and chat with and talk crap with, basically. Say hello to Darren as well and Drew. And then my missus, Harlan, and my kids, Daniela and Michael.
Well, Adrian, best of luck next week out at Jerez. We look forward to seeing how you go, and if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck at Daytona for the final round of the season.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next up, we have P1 for the AMs, Matty Keane here tonight. Mr. Keane, P1 on the road for the Pro-Ams, and I had to mention on the broadcast as well, after a couple of weeks ago where you got knocked out of the provisional pole in a heat race, the next 2 sprint rounds after that, you've managed to put the car P10 and claim provisional pole for the feature. So you're on a bit of a roll at the moment, especially into the final sprint round of the season.
Yeah, thanks, Hutto. It's pure luck. In all honesty, the one I should have got, I didn't get because I had damage and couldn't pass the blue flag car. And then the 2 I shouldn't have got, I've had cars die and just hand it to me on the last lap. So I'm not going to knock it.
Yeah, well, I guess, Matt, keep doing what you're doing. I guess upstairs, Hamish and I have been keeping a close eye on the Pro-Am Championship. Unfortunately, Pete Ziedler probably didn't get the results he'd wanted. What's your focus for the next 2 weeks, seeing as you've got quite, I guess, a bit of breathing space back to P2 and Pete Ziedler right now?
Yeah, I feel sorry for Pete, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not unhappy. No, it just makes it easier to do what I've done since the start of the season and just try and keep it clean. I've only had the one DNF, and it was unfortunate on the last lap at Road Atlanta in round 1. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and I don't have to be at the front of the Pro-Ams now. It's just a matter of finishing and staying safe. Generally, you'll get positions and the points needed now.
Yeah, I guess Hamish and I spoke on that at length on the broadcast about drivers just picking and choosing their battles. Speaking of battles, what was the race like for you, Matt? It seemed, as we've said, chaotic at times. Yeah, a lot of drivers going wheel to wheel. How was the drive for you?
In all honesty, with the bad qualifying I had, I really enjoyed race 1, trying to come through the field and stuff. But race 2, what can I say? There was a lot of carnage. Some moves were questionable at times, and that's even from my point of view. And I was near the front; I could see it in the mirror. But it was good when we were all close and near the start. But it kind of fell off a bit towards the end, especially on that second restart. I don't know what was going on through the field, but there was checkups everywhere, and then there was just massive gaps. And this track, you may as well call it an oval. It's very much flat a lot of the time, and once you lose that draft, it's very difficult to drive around and try and catch it back up.
Well, Matty, a solid performance for you here tonight. Once again, you garner a lot of points for your championship hopes in the Pro-Am class and moving your way up into pros next season. Let us know how it helps get you and SLM Motorsport out on track. And for myself and Hutto, congratulations on your P1 for the Pro-Am tonight and your P5 overall here in the feature race.
Thanks, Hamish. Firstly, just thanking you guys. You guys put on the show, and we really appreciate it and getting ourselves out there. SLM sponsor is Suit Speed. If you guys are looking for the best sim racing apparel out there, and it's made here and everything, use SLM as a discount code to get 10% off. They do gloves, t-shirts, socks. I'm still lobbying for the jocks, but Richard's not happy with it yet. But yeah, and just thanking the SLM boys, keeping me going, and good to see I'm finally dragging at least one of them in with Ray. We're getting there.
Well, mate, it was a hell of a performance from you. Best of luck next week out at Jerez, and if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck at Daytona in the final round.
Thanks very much, boys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, after 2 weeks of not talking to him, Hutto, Mr. Dylan De Bono is back on the podium and back into winning ways. Mate, we haven't had a chance to talk in 2 weeks, but you must have been the unluckiest driver across VIR and Navarra, and then this week you're back to winning form, and you get a lifeline in this championship with Daniel Byrne and David Gallo having a poor run as well, mate. How do you feel at the moment?
Yeah, it was definitely good to finally get one win on the board in the last 3 rounds, because like you said, Virginia was that was a tough one. Navarra even worse. Just had a real unlucky streak there, but had to capitalise on tonight. Didn't start very well with qualifying. Had a computer problem where I spilled a beverage on my keyboard and couldn't get any lap times or relatives or anything on my screen, so that didn't help. But without the help of my teammates, wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, Dylan, congratulations. And like you said, how much did your team come for you, or help you get you where you were in the race? We saw late in race 1, I think, were there a little bit of team orders going on there?
Yeah, no, me and Dougie, we sort of set out the end of probably last round. He's probably been the most unluckiest person I've seen for a while in this series. We sort of sat down and worked out a plan, what would happen, and sort of it came to the crunch there. Dougie's pretty well out of the championship, and 2 points in this series is massive. So he sort of just said, "Come on by," and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess now you've kind of not got the or the weight has been lifted. You said you've had a few unlucky weeks. You're back in the winner's circle again. How do you approach the next 2 weeks, knowing you've got 2 fantastic drivers from the Carlins outfit of Daniel Byrne and David Gallo? It's now you versus them sort of thing. And yeah, how do you approach the next couple of races?
I just need to stay out of the trouble. Tonight's aim was just to minimise any damage. I knew how tough it would be to pull away from cars here. The draft was crazy. It made entertaining racing, but as a racer, it was very hard to pull away from someone, and didn't matter if you were 0.5, 0.6 quicker. They would always just wheel you back in. But yeah, I think going forward, just stay out of trouble. At the end of the day, a win isn't going to win a championship. So just need to score good points each race, and yeah, should be all right.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess your main attention would probably be on this championship, but I guess would you have one eye on the Australian Open World Nationals coming up in 3 weeks' time?
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to win this championship. Firstly, I've been going at it for 4 seasons now, and just missed out a couple of times. But yeah, this would obviously be my main target. Then once this is finished, however it ends up, I'll shift the focus onto the Nationals, where I was even closer last season to winning it before
Well, you're pretty much
Yeah.
guaranteed to have a slot in the Open Wheel Nationals at this point. I mean, I don't think there's a way that Dylan can drop out of the top 20 at this point, Brad.
No, I don't think so. Actually, let me just run. So I think
I
you've.
don't think you can, because there's probably a 300 at least point gap back to P20.
No, as a result of tonight, 7 drivers, I think, have actually... 6 drivers have qualified for the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. So just running quick numbers, it would be, yourself, Dylan, David Gallo, Daniel Byrne, Matthew Keane, Adrian Loretti, Jay Dixon, all qualifying for the Australian Open Wheel Nationals from SRW. Congratulations.
Well, there you go. Hopefully we get a good track and start putting in the practice, which would be lovely.
Well, we can guarantee you it's not Silverstone again, so...
Yeah, that was a tough one there. I said that was for sure.
Well, mate, another great run from you, a great return to form, and the luck is back on your side. Let us know who helps get you and Velocity Sim Labs out on circuit. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well. For myself, Hutto, and the rest of the league, congratulations on another win this season.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I think that also brings up 20 wins if I'm counting correctly. Big thanks to Cam Hardwick. He was on the mic all night tonight, helping me out. Same as Dougie after he got again unlucky with some net code. All the boys at Velocity Sim Lab for their efforts. We're striding for better and better achievements each week. Haikoki Power Tools, Hit Race YouTube channel, SRW for all the racing they put on, and don't forget to check out Velocity Sim Labs on Facebook. And just one other thing, this win goes out to one of my good mates' family. He was involved in a car accident on Monday night, and unfortunately 2 of the passengers passed away, so shout out to them.
Well, Dylan, congratulations once again. Very, very sorry to hear about that happening in your friend's life, but best of luck next week at Jerez. We look forward to seeing how you go. For whatever reason we don't get a chance to chat to you, best of luck at Daytona in the final round and your attempt to win your first SFL championship here in SRW.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, Hutto, that brings an end to sprint round action in 2024. No more sprint rounds in SFLs. It's 60 minutes of racing in the next 2 rounds, and a championship is yet to be decided between Dylan De Bono, Daniel Byrne, and David Gallo for the pro side of things here in the SFLs.
Yeah, there's definitely not much in it, Hamish. It's been one hell of a season, and it looks like it's going to go all the way down to the wire again, once again. Tonight was... I think we've seen some chaotic races, but tonight I think almost takes the cake. The amount, like looking up and down the intervals of the ladder tonight, it was all just red and orange. So the drivers are within, half a second and 0.2 of a second of each other. It's absolutely insane, Hamish.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Some of the moves tonight were very avoidable out on track, but sometimes it's the nature of the beast and it's the nature of the track and the nature of the field. But next week out of Jerez, that's going to be crunch time. It's going to be nitty and gritty. These are the points in the season where you'll see drivers win or lose a championship. And for those drivers in contention for their titles, they need to perform next week. If they're going to have a bad round and they haven't had one previously, they want it to be next week more so than round 9, because this is where it all comes to a head. But a big thank you goes out to all of our series sponsors. Warren & Brown Tools, our title sponsors for the V8 Supercars Series and the V8 Supercars Championship on Tuesday and Sundays. As well to Cooler Master, our title sponsor here on the Wednesday night Super Formula Championship, and to Shannon's Insurance for their continued support of the Thursday night GR86 Nationals, as well to NeuroPower, DSL Rail Services, Shunt Scenery, and Grimm Industries, the home of the V8 Coffee Table, which can be found on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing here on SRWtv. For myself, Hamish Munro Brad Hudson, and the rest of the league, thank you so much for joining us for round 7 of season 4 of 2024, the Cooler Master Super Formula Championship out of Watkins Glen. And until next time, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Amazing, I was clash heads again. This is like Chad Moscow and Cam Waters, almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanner can Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away.